I actually posted on Instagram this time. Look at
Oh,
me
snap.
using an app for its intended purpose. Like,
Amazing. Let me do it too while we're here. Although I shared that we would be live, but now I'll share that we are live.
that's right. I should do that on Twitter.
An important distinction.
Yes.
Oh, what's that? Someone on Instagram, Josie, I don't know if you're going to be here, but thank you for appreciating me talking about Once on This Island. I love that show. Oh, you've read this, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Once on This Island vibes. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Are you a
okay.
Once on This Island girly?
I don't know as much about it as I should. I've like listened to a tiny bit of it. I'm going to be though. I can feel it. Like,
it's one of my top 5 musicals just of life. I
wow.
love that show.
Okay.
We had no business, but we performed it in middle school. And so I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm so grateful that we did, because that's how I learned
Right.
about that musical, and it like had a huge impact, and I've loved it for, over half my life, right? Yeah. But then on the other hand, I'm like, who's Mr. C? Mr. C, why did you pick this? You were such a great teacher, but we were not the demographic for the show.
Yes.
We were not the school for it.
Right.
Even if the junior version cuts out the song about the colonization and the colorism, it's still not the show for us, okay?
Yeah. I'm glad you started that one though, and that you're enjoying it. I really liked it. I feel like it went really under the radar when it came out, but I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And it also is cool because, like, sorry, go ahead.
I said I'm doing the audiobook.
Nice.
But I do
it's cool too because, like, as the book progressed, I feel like there were more and more like references to the Little Mermaid, which was super fun because, like, I don't know if it's like strictly a retelling, but I'm like, there are definitely like intentional choices here about that, which I thought was fun. Yeah, okay. Anyone in the comments, let us know what you're going to be reading. We're going to give it a couple minutes before we jump into our first sprint. Yeah.
I picked up my phone to share that we were live, and then I didn't do that. I just started talking about what's on the side.
You're like, wait a second. Yeah.
Okay, let's just pop a cute. Oh, and you can see my ring light. We're cute. Okay, smile. Yay. Okay. Oh, I forget that my phone likes to be slow. Okay. What was I about to say? Oh. every time I've got you in a corner, I'm like, let me tell you something about choices, Kara. They just released, well, they didn't post it yet, but they released like the teaser, like the art and title for their next story that's coming out, and their next book is a historical romance. I'm so hyped. So
wow, that is exciting.
That's all I need, honestly. Like, you can give me any tropes, and if it's historical, I'm like, this is better. I like it more.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yes. Historical fantasy, especially, is just like, it's the perfect combo of so many things I love. And there's so much you can do with it. Like, you can make it like historical, but like with one magic element. You can do like only vibes, like only historical vibes. Like, there's just so many ways to love it. Okay, so do we want to like jump in with a little warm-up sprint, and then we can do more of the introduction stuff after? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm down for whatever. Wait, should we start with Enter the Body? I was gonna say, do you want to help me pick what to read first? Then I was like, well,
I know that's what I'm gonna be reading for our first one. So
the reflection was like, meh.
Yeah, I think it would be very appropriate for our first sprint if we want to do that. I like last sprint, we also kind of unofficially did a buddy read.
It's true, we did.
I love it. We're so in sync. Okay, so let's do I'm thinking just like a little warm up sprint. So maybe like about 15 minutes, do you think?
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
And this reads so fast that we can read a lot of it in 15 minutes.
Right. Right. Okay. So sprint until 20 just to get warmed up.
Get the brain juices flowing.
That's right.
Because I got to wake mine up.
Yes. Okay.
Like,
I will see you guys back.
oh
Okay, everybody, welcome back from our little warm-up sprint.
Went so fast.
I know. How did it go? Let us know in the comments what you guys are reading. Hello. Reading The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. Yes, I'm excited you made it too.
Oh man, what part are you at, Sarah?
So, okay, let me get my book.
Oh, Kelly's here.
Hi, Kelly. Hello. I am in the Ophelia section, but now we just started getting a little bit from Cordelia. So yeah, I have to say I have a soft spot for Laertes, so I'm a little upset at the way he's being written here, but I'm like, okay, that's fair.
This is so funny because I just got to the Ophelia section, and so as I was reading, you'll see if you watch this back later, I like look up and I'm like researching because I was like, actually, I want Paris in my play too. Actually, I want Laertes in my play too. So I'm like looking up their prompts.
Yes.
Oh no, but I'm sad that Laertes is being done dirty.
I mean, not like it's he's only come up like a couple times, and I see how it fits with like what the author's doing with the story and with Ophelia. So like I'm not like really mad or anything, especially because like I have seen his character written that way before. But it's just like I have like a fondness for him because I feel like even though the things he says to Ophelia are very much like in line with like the cultural misogyny, I feel like it is coming from a place of like love and he wants to protect her. And it's like,
I agree.
Even though we all know that this is like really messed up, he's doing it because he doesn't want something bad to happen to her. He's not saying like you would deserve this.
Yeah.
If this happened to you. I mean, that's always been my interpretation. I understand that
I agree with you.
Other people could interpret it differently, but yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he turns out in this version. But yeah. Also, I'm so excited that Cleopatra's in it. I didn't realize she was going to be, but as soon as they mentioned the asp, and I'm like, what?
Well,
so
she's in the list of characters.
Right, but I think I didn't realize she was going to be one of like the women in the story. Like I hope she gets like her own section and it's not just like she's there. But I mean, I'm enjoying it regardless, but I'd love always a fan of a Cleopatra cameo.
Yeah. That's how I felt seeing that Amelia is here. I was like,
yes,
oh my God.
I'm reading this for the Amelia prompt.
Oh.
To read a book that deals with an important topic. So actually that segues beautifully into our introductions. Julia, would you like to share, I don't know, anything about your channel that you haven't already said? I know we do these like all the time.
I know. No,
but yeah, Julia is already linked below, and Olivia Savannah is our other co-host. She couldn't be here today, but she's also lovely. So go for it.
I'll share the wonderful news that the editing process hasn't started, but it's about to finally start. So there will be a reading vlog from me soon, which is exciting. I haven't done one of those for a long time. And it's actually for I say like secret project. I put everything on Goodreads. Like people are going to know if you've been following me for a while. But like stuff that I was reading just over a year ago now. I was romance that for me. I wanted to find a 5-star historical romance for me, for Julia specifically.
Yeah.
And there were varying degrees of success had. That's all I'll say.
Excited. I am so excited.
Actually, my favorite book from that vlog, I've really been thinking about. I'm like, is it time for a reread? Maybe soon.
Yeah. I can't wait to see all of the final data compiled. And you want to, like, obviously we're reading the same book, but if you want to talk about any like prompts that you're working on, or if you have an idea for another book you're going to read,
I'll share everything.
Yeah. Share
so
all the
much.
things.
Okay. Oh, that's not the tab I wanted to pull open. You dingus. Okay. So kind to myself. So now I'm like, you're right. I can use this for Amelia. So I'm just gonna throw that into the mix. Amelia's in my play now. She'll be like the team mom character, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's who do I have? Helena and Hero. So Amelia's like the older one being like, hey, you know what, girls, this isn't gonna work, this plan, but she's like along for the ride anyways.
Yes,
Like
yes.
she's Steve and the rest are like the Stranger kids, they're the Stranger Things kids. And they're like, wait, no, actually. So that'll be Amelia. Still working on Some Dukes Have All the Luck. This is not for a prompt though. Poor Miss Finch, also not for a prompt, but it's here. Six of Crows I'm using for both. Oh, wait, I said Helena because I have a friend whose name is Helena now, so I say it that way. Helena is the way I say it in the play usually, so that's so funny that came out of my mouth. I'm pretty sure I said Helena. Anyways, so I'm using it for this, and then also for the romance genre because, well, that's 2 points of view. This has many points of view, but... And then Skin of the Sea, I'm also not using for any prompts, but I might paint my nails at some point, which means I will listen to my audiobook. Or I'll paint my nails while we're talking. TBD.
Yes. Love it, love it.
So many books around me at this moment.
Yeah, me too. And I was thinking, like, right before we started, I'm like, I'm planning to read the Artemisia book that you gave me, and I'm like, I kind of want to start it now, but I'm like, I really should finish some of the other ones that I'm reading now. I don't know.
Oh, I have a question for you also.
Yes.
Speaking of Artemisia and Joy McCullough, does she only write in verse? I mean, I know there's like some prose in this and in Bloodwater
No,
Paint.
so she also has written a couple of middle grade contemporaries that are not in verse. I've read A Field Guide to Getting Lost, which I actually enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. And then just because like I'm not like a camping outdoor adventure kind of person, so and then I really want to read Across the Pond by her, which I do have, but I haven't read yet. So she does write in prose as well.
Good to know. I was asking Mary Margaret about it because I was like, this is only the second thing I've read from her, but all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm just sensing a pattern. And then I thought, because I think the only other thing I own by her is Great or Nothing. And I was like, that's not in prose. And then I went to Goodreads and it's like Amy's section, or that's not in verse, I mean. And then Amy's section apparently is in verse. So I'm like, she probably wrote Amy.
Yeah. Yeah, I still need to read Great or Nothing. Also, one of the other things I'll be working on during sprints, speaking of editing, is like I'm going to be finally trying to do the captions for my April reading plans, which at this point is more of a currently reading update. This keeps happening to me. I never plan well.
Yep.
Hello, Nana.
Nana, I still have to listen to that the video you sent me of Nana was working on a song. She's working on a song. And I got so excited. I was like, send it to me. And then I was at work and then I didn't listen to it. And then I passed out and didn't listen to it. So I need to listen to it today.
Sounds good. Any ideas on how long we want to do our next sprint for?
Ooh. I don't know. Definitely longer because that went so fast for me.
Yes, it did. And I think I'm going to try and start off doing captions and then reward myself with
respect.
Nana calling you out live on camera.
I don't know if I can get called out when I call myself a fake friend all the time. Ooh. Well, yeah. We will see. Oh my God, I can listen to it while we're sprinting because I'll be on mute and no one else will know.
That's true.
But I will not give you live feedback. That's just
right, just like
you didn't solicit
taking
that.
notes, like as you. Yeah. Do we want to just do a nice even 30-minute sprint?
I love that.
Okay, cool. Also, at some point, I might disappear for a few minutes to go eat something.
Okay.
So you might be on your own for a little bit, Julia. But
That's fair. Oh, you know what? I also have an e-arc that I need to work on, so I'm putting that in the spinner wheel too. Okay.
oh yeah, are you gonna do the spinner wheel now?
Yes, I'm adding
Do it.
body into it. Do I have everything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the ebook. Yep. Okay. Got them. Let's see. Spin. I also realized there's a feature where you can it like tallies every time you land on something. So, oh, okay, we're taking a romance break. That's
Okay.
nice. So then I can see like which ones I end up reading the most during sprints, which is fun.
That is fun. All right, so we are going to sprint until the hour, and we will see you guys then. There's my banner. There it is. Okay, everyone, welcome back.
Good to be back. Oh my gosh. Because I keep reading this so sporadically, I have to like kind of reconfigure my brain. Like not with the main couple. I've got their shtick down and I like them, but he's got 3 wards and she's got like this big friend group who we keep getting alluded to because clearly the series is going to be about like her friends falling in love. And so I'm like, okay, who is this woman that is in this scene? And I'm like, trying to figure them out every time. But so the oldest of the 3 wards of his is a 16-year-old girl named Regina. And I remember at the beginning of the book being like, I love her, but I couldn't remember why. And she's being kind of like cold right now to Bronwyn, which makes sense because it's like, I didn't have a real childhood. This man who I'm not related to is raising me. And now there's this random woman who married him. Like, why am I supposed to care? You're 16. You shouldn't care. Like, all of that adds up. But I was like, why did I love her so much? So then I had to go back in my ebook and like look at my highlights because I started it as a galley. And then I was like, yes, I do love her. And then literally just before we finished that sprint, she was like looking in a shop window and one of Bronwyn's friends was like, oh, what are you looking at? And she's like, nothing. And she's like, there's quite some interesting hats in there. Are you interested in millinery? And she was like, no. And then she like thought and she was like, actually, I'm more interested in men's hats and trousers. And I was like, you go, Regina. I don't even know if you're lying or telling the truth, but I love your attitude. So, love her.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely have those books where it's like I like read them in chunks, and so every time I jump back in, I'm like, which one are? Oh yeah, okay. Kelly fell asleep during the sprint and jumped when we started talking. Didn't get much read. That's okay. I mean, it is like 2 p.m. here, and I'm still like, what?
I took a nap before our sprints.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for reminding me that the banner is up. Like sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't. So don't feel bad. Please be that person if I need you to be. Yeah, I did get a chunk of captions edited, which is exciting. And then I also ate some food, which was very exciting. So good sprint. If not much reading done, it was at least a good sprint.
So true.
Yeah.
And my candle burnt out, so I lit a new one. Very exciting stuff.
Yes. It's a very dramatic weekend over here at All the World's a Page. Speaking of weekend, I think the plan is still to do our watch along tomorrow. We're going to be finalizing which movie it is, and I know that it's, accessibility is going to vary a lot. I feel like it's really hard to do watch alongs. Like just within the last couple of years, I feel like there's a lot less like consistency with like what movies are available to people. So
right. Yeah. Well, and then within even like, that's great if, it's on Hulu internationally. Okay, cool. But then it's like you also have to even have Hulu in the first place,
Yeah.
Like that,
or like if you have Netflix, that helps, but it's like they take things down sometimes.
They take things down all the time.
All the time. Yeah. Food is always exciting. Yes.
I was just complaining with Sarah because she and I forever ago were like rewatching the show Rain together because that's like a trash fave. I love it so much. It's terrible and I love it. Yeah. And I was like, we stopped that and I really want to get back into it. And she was like, okay, but I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. So I was like, oh, although apparently it is just like on the CW's website, like all of it. So that's great for us, but
yeah,
weird.
Yep.
I also am very sad about having to paint my nails a neutral color because it's spring and I love spring colors, but
Yeah.
the show that I'm in is set in the past when they did not paint their nails. So,
Yeah.
what is this?
The sacrifices we make.
I know, truly. Such a big ask.
Yes, yes. I'm looking at my little TBR spreadsheet here and I'm like, I've already made some adjustments, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need to do more. I was so ambitious. Like you guys will see when my like reading plans finally goes up, which one of the reasons that I am still posting it even though it's late is that like I talk about the stories I'm doing, which I think is kind of fun.
Oh, yes.
So hopefully people still care.
Necessary. I care
But thank you. When it finally goes up, it's like I had so much faith in myself for this month. Like, like I have read I think quite a lot this month already, and I feel like I'm in a good like reading zone right now. But still, like the ambition is
unparalleled.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I feel like the only reason I'm doing okay with my reading plans for the month is because I've DNF'd a few things.
Mm-hmm.
A few of them I had like already started or like, you know, was in the process of reading. And then I've been doing really good with my audiobooks this month. But like, honestly, the only physical book that I started and finished in April is All's Well That Ends Well. And that's a play. So like,
Yeah.
Has she been reading? Yes. But has she been reading? No.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, I keep looking down because I'm working on my nails. I'm not trying to be
go
rude.
for it.
Know that my ears are wide open.
I thought about getting one of my knitting projects to work on when we're talking, but I think the thing that makes the most sense to work on is one that would not be easy to do during sprints because I'm on a brioche section.
I don't even know what that means for knitting.
Yeah, it's like, it looks really cool. It's like a double knit where you basically knit every row twice, once in one color and once in another. And because of how you skip stitches, it creates this really cool like 3D almost. Like it looks really cool and I really like it. But it's something that I'm fairly new to and I need a lot of concentration for. And I don't feel like weaving in the ends as I go yet, because like that's something else I'm like, well, that's always really good to work on because it's like fairly not mindless, but it's like low complexity, you know? And I just didn't feel like it. So
yeah,
that's why I'm not. End of story. I'm not.
You know what? I respect it. Who needs to do things when you could sometimes just not do things? Right. I love not doing things.
I really do. Like, all joking aside, I love not doing things.
Oh yeah. I think I sent you and Mary Margaret before that clip of Katya, the drag queen, who's like, they were like, she's like, someone should do this. And then Trixie was like, you should do it. Like, no, I want someone else to do it. And Trixie was like, you've got free time. Exactly. It's my time. It's free. I'm not giving it away. It's my time. What do you want my time for? Like, I relate to it so deeply.
Yeah.
And I'm bleeding all of a sudden. So cool.
You're what?
I'm bleeding. I've cut myself.
With what?
My local pusher.
Oh.
Went to the cuticles.
Yeah. I don't do anything with my cuticles when I paint my nails. Like, I just trust they're doing their job.
You do your thing, cuticles.
Yeah.
I don't always. Well, and I usually have like a cuticle oil that I put on first, so maybe that helps. But I've been wearing a lot of fake nails, so I've just been letting the cuticles do their thing, and now I'm looking at them and I'm like, you're just positively unruly.
Yeah.
Stop that. So I'm just trying to make sure everything's like looking good. And
Yeah.
instead, I injure myself. Say la vie. Has Olivia Savannah hasn't replied about potential watch along options yet, has she?
I don't think so. Um, and yeah, and another thing about the watch line, because we are announcing it so late, it's a good opportunity for a reminder that, like, I mean, as with anything with the readathon, it's like really optional. It's like if
Oh
you
yeah.
are somebody who loves watch alongs and you don't mind having to like try and find where you can watch something, then it'll be a fun activity, but don't feel like it's mandatory participation. Like,
Yeah.
not that I think anyone does, but I know that sometimes when there's like a group book or like a group watch, people can feel like, oh, if you're in the readathon, then like you need to do all the things, and you really don't.
Yeah.
As we've been saying, we love not doing things. So
Yes. And I feel like, was it you who I had this conversation with where I was like, I'm notoriously never reading the group book. Like, it could be my favorite readathon. And if you pick a group book, I'm like, unless I already own that book and it's like helpful for something else I'm doing this month, I'm probably not just going to randomly read
yeah,
that book with you. I'm so sorry.
yeah. I know. Every readathon that I have been like the creator of, so like this one and middle grade magic, and I'm trying to think if there's another one. But like anything where I've been like not just a host, but like involved in the initial like planning, I'm like, we never do group books because I hate
Mhm.
them. I mean, like, not that I like never do them when I'm a co-host. Like, obviously, if I'm like hosting somebody else's thing with them and there's a group book, then I'm like, yeah, of course I'll read that. And like, it often ends up being one I really enjoy. So I'm not saying like every time you see me reading a group book, I'm mad about it.
Yeah.
But in terms of like things that I do, I'm like, I will not require a group book. That's just not
Yes.
how I roll. Cause like I'm the same. It's like it could be like it could literally be a book that it's like I already wanted to read this month. And it's like, well, now I'm not. Like just
You're not the boss of me.
I don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Like I used up all of that in school. So
Truly.
yeah.
Although I will say for tour.com-a-thon, I did get, what's it, Even Though I Knew the End? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
From the library. And I do still intend on reading it because that
I
was already very much on my radar.
Yes, I really enjoyed it, and then I had thoughts about the ending, so I am very
Ooh,
excited to hear what you think, so we can
yeah.
discuss.
I,
But yeah, that was a good one. I'm really glad that that was our group book because I don't know that it was something that was on my radar, so it was fun
yeah.
to get to read it.
I think I originally heard about it. I don't know where, but I definitely like knew about it before it came out, and I was like, that sounds good. Um, so I wanted to read it. And then my friend Mel, who loves the Diviners, was like, this is the closest I've come to the feeling I have while reading the Diviners while not reading the Diviners. And I was like, ooh, intriguing.
Yeah.
So that's that. I was like, I'll read it.
Yeah. Keep me posted on it.
Yeah.
Um trying to decide what I want to do for our next sprint because like I think what I'll do, I will do at least one more page of captions and then I will reward myself with book as before.
I didn't know
Um,
you were going to say captions. And I was like, wow, one more page of a book, huh? You're really loving it?
no, there are books I have read where it's like truly making it through one page feels like a victory, but thankfully
Yeah.
none of the ones I'm reading right now qualify.
Thank
Um,
goodness.
yeah, actually, I think I'm like similar to what you were saying at the beginning, Julia, or maybe this was before we went live, but like I'm genuinely really liking all of the things on my currently reading right now, which I think sometimes means that I just don't commit to any of them. I just keep
Yeah.
like bouncing around. It's like I'm having a good time, but I'm getting nothing done.
Mm-hmm. It's the exact vibe.
How long do we want to do for our next sprint? And anyone in the comments, do you have a preference?
Yes. Do share. That's a great question because this is going to be gross to put my nail file behind my ear like a pen. I was like, is that weird? I don't know. Because I just spun my wheel and I got the galley that I haven't started yet. So now not only do I have to add it on Bookly before I can even start reading it, but I'm like, I don't know. Sorry, I'm like cleaning the velvet of my couch. It's all messed up. I don't even know like how long the chapters are, you know? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
how long would I want to read for? I gotta get out of this other book. But look at this beautiful cover. Oh, wait, go back to the cover. Cover. Dang it. Oh, wait. And her little dedication page is to those who remained kind even in the face of adversity. Silas is for you. So that's gonna be my favorite character, my sweet Silas.
You're like, I already love him.
Yeah. Look at that beautiful cover.
Yes.
So I'm hyped.
Do we think maybe another half hour?
I think I'm good with a half an hour.
Okay, cool. So we're going to go till 45. And kind of what I'm thinking is after that sprint and we chat a little bit, we might do one more little like finish it up sprint and then we'll probably be done. It's kind of what I'm thinking. So you get my banner and we will see you guys in about half an hour. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Gently whispering you back into the spreads.
It's my favorite. I love it every time.
Thank you. How did that go for everyone?
Good on my side. I only ended up reading the ebook for like the last 10 minutes because I decided I did just want to finish painting my nails, which I think up close they don't look neutral, but I think from afar it's skin tone enough that it'll be fine.
Yes.
So I listened to the audiobook while I was doing that.
Nice. I actually might be getting I've been looking at like a couple of audiobooks because I've been doing a lot of knitting, obviously, so it's nice to have some of that on. Yeah, I did do some captions, and I read just a little bit of Enter the Body. Yeah, I'm on like page 128 because it reads so fast.
Nice.
Yeah, I really hope we get a Cleopatra section. I'll be like really sad if she's just like name dropped, but yeah.
I think she'll be there. I don't know if she'll get a full section, but I it's not just going to be like a mention of her.
Right. You got to give her dialogue,
yes.
Which I think it's interesting too. And I wonder if this is going to come up in this story because it would really fit with what I think Joe McCullough is doing. But what actually happened with Cleopatra's death is, I mean, it was, I think, an asp, or it was like poison, but like 98% of like the paintings show it like on her breast, and it was on her wrist. She like reached into a basket and like got bit by the snake, but they're all like, she's like naked getting bitten by a snake, like very sexualized. So I wonder if that's going to be part of what she talks about.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, even just logistically, because if it's like a purposeful act, it's like your breast is not going to be the most, like, even if it's like the general term of like your chest,
right,
that's not going to be the most fast acting place to be bitten.
Right. Like, dying, like poisoning yourself with your torso is very, very strange.
It's a bold move.
Yeah. Not really efficient. No. I would guess, like, no matter what your intention is behind it. Yeah. So I don't know, like, I can't remember if we talked with Mary Margaret about like how, like, when we wanted to finish the buddy read, but I feel like I could finish it today if we want to, or maybe tomorrow. Maybe it's just like weekend.
I could 100% finish it this weekend. I am blessed to not have rehearsals this weekend. And it just goes so fast. Ooh, I just was like flipping and I see a section that looks script-like. So that's exciting.
Yes, I'm loving those sections. They're some of my favorites. Unsurprisingly.
I'm curious to have, I wasn't like, I love Romeo and Juliet. I wasn't super into Juliet's section. I feel like I'm liking Ophelia's more so far.
Me too. Yeah. I felt the same. And I think Cordelia's is interesting so far too, primarily because I really like the way that the author is interpreting just like the general play of like King Lear and like the way the play starts and how bizarre it is. So I like that. But yeah, I definitely agree that like there were definitely some moments in the Juliet section where I'm like, oh, that's such a good line, that's such a good quote. But like as a whole, it didn't work for me as well as the Ophelia one did.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's maybe part of it is just like that I feel like Ophelia has just kind of inherently more of an aesthetic to herself. Like everyone associates her with like nature and flowers and water for obvious reasons. Whereas Juliet, it's just like a girl she is in love, but there isn't like a visual tie to her or like an item other than obviously like the dagger.
Yeah.
So like maybe that just inherently that's kind of easier to write because those little like tie-ins to nature are just
Yeah.
already there from the get-go.
Yeah. And I wonder too if it's because with Ophelia, there's so much more room to interpret because there are things that we don't know about the play Hamlet. Like, does Hamlet actually care about her? Is he actually mad? Like, there's all these big questions that really affect how you feel about Ophelia and like the relationships in the play. Whereas with Romeo and Juliet, it's pretty clear what actually happened
Yeah,
and what didn't,
true.
Which also, like, so this time around, Hamlet is one of my favorite tragedies. I know it's not everyone's thing, but I love it. And I like this time around reading the Never Doubt I Love section, what a gorgeous quote.
Mm-hmm.
But this time around, I don't know if it was like in context or like in contrast almost with what like is happening with this version of Ophelia and Hamlet, but like reading that part this time, I'm like, this feels like Hamlet telling Ophelia, like, even if you get scared about what I'm saying and doing, I still love you. It's like, but he can't come out and say, like, I'm going to pretend I'm mad so I can catch my uncle. So it's just interesting, which, like, I don't think the author is interpreting it that way, which I can understand.
But
But yeah.
could be a fair interpretation depending on who.
Yeah, like there's so much intentional vagueness in Hamlet, and I think it makes for a really interesting play to interpret and discuss.
Makes me want to try rereading the book, the Ophelia book that the movie's based off of, that we watched last year.
Yeah, I was just
I think I told you guys, right? Like, I read that book straight up, not having read Hamlet. Like, I didn't even know. I was like young and dumb. I just didn't know because I had read, I think, another book by that author that was like historical fiction. I was like, cool, another historical fiction from this author. And so I was like so mad because it was like so depressing.
yeah.
And it's like, girl, she fixed it. She made it less depressing and you're mad at her.
Yeah, like if you don't know the starting point, like you could be like, wow, this is a bummer. Like,
so I think I will like it when I reread it.
Yes. I was talking to somebody recently about a show that we had both seen, and like they really didn't like the ending. They found it really unsatisfying. And I was like, I think I was so concerned that it was going to be worse that by the time we got there, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, this is like almost a happy ending. So, yeah.
That's me watching every episode of The Walking Dead. I'm like, listen, you've already given me the worst. Everything else is fine. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, wait, speaking of TV, have you started season 2 of Schmigadoon?
I have not.
Get on it. It's a good time. Actually, I think 3 episodes are out now and I haven't watched the 3rd yet, but I'm excited.
I'm excited for more. I'm interested too because they're planning to do like different eras of musical theater, and like some of them I love and some of them like I don't know. We'll see.
I was having this conversation with someone else too. Yeah. I just think it's going to get very interesting from here because I think these like season 1 and season 2, those eras of musicals are more generally cohesive and consistent. But once we start getting to the 80s and 90s, the 2000s, musicals go every which way.
Yeah.
So I am curious.
Yeah. Because like there's not so much a general vibe or feeling to unite them. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting how they kind of string that together into like its own like season or like storyline. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the 80s and 90s still feel relatively distinct to me in terms of like the feeling, but yeah, not at all like the first season era and then what they're working on now. So
Yeah.
it will be very
Although
interesting.
for season 2, they do have like that juxtaposition between like the gritty, you know, like Sweeney Todd, Chicago, that vibe, versus like the hippy dippy Pippin and Hare. And like
Mm.
those, they've actually got working shockingly well together. So
Okay.
I should have hope. I should have faith. Um, but yeah, I just think more, even like thematically, like shows of kind of like the 70s kind of have their own overarching like patterns in what they're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know totally is true for the 80s, 90s. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
There are people who are better writers and smarter people than me working on this show, I'm sure. So they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, same here. It's like I'm just kind of, it's like from what I can remember, this is what I think about these eras. But like if you ask me for examples, like I don't think I'd have as many as I think I do. Yeah. And it's gonna be interesting too because like some of the what I think they're probably gonna pick as like the iconic shows are
Mhm.
ones where like I really respect what they did, but I don't enjoy the show.
Mm.
Like Spring Awakening, not at all my thing. Very much not my thing. But I get why other people would be into it. But then also it's like, well, I wouldn't watch a show about it. So like if
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I already like the Schmigadoon show. So I
Mhm.
might just continue. But depending on how much of the storyline is about shows that I don't like, I don't know. It's just there's a lot up in the air.
Yeah, that's true. Much to think about. My
Much to
favorite
think
meme
about.
that I literally I put in my Instagram stories today. I was like, much to think about.
It works for every occasion.
It's so versatile. I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, on that note, I know I mentioned that we might do like a little mini sprint, but I actually feel like this is maybe a good stopping point.
I'm for it.
Um, so yeah, thank you for being here for another All the World's a Page reading sprint.
Mhm.
And thank you if you're watching this back later. Thank you to the lovely, talented Julia for
Oh,
being here.
stand up.
Yeah, and we will probably, as I said, we like are tentatively having a watch along tomorrow, but it's going to be a very casual one. So like if you can't join or if you like watch the movie later, I want to talk about it, that is also
Mm-hmm.
100% fine.
Yeah, just tag
um
us and we'll be like, love it.
yeah. Tag us with your thoughts. Okay, so I will sign off. We are probably going to be having at least a couple more sprints. I know Olivia Savannah's planning to host one at the very end of the month, and we might have a couple like pop-up sprints like
Mhm.
at some point too. So even less warning than usual.
We like to keep you on your toes.
That's right. All right. Thank you guys and happy reading.
Thanks. Thank you, Kara.